Hello everybody and welcome to today's vlog. It's another miserable, grey, windy, horrible day in the UK, and today I thought I would help you guys prepare for a winter showing show. So we're going to be getting Donny in. I'm going to go through my grooming routine and give you guys a bit of a tutorial on how to prepare your horse for a winter show. Also, just to clarify, it's not that cold. Like, there is a bonfire that has just been lit next to the school, so it's a tad smoky in here, but it's fine. Donny's used to the bonfire. We're going to get the horses in, we're going to do some grooming and think about some show preparations, see the light at the end of the dark tunnel, which is winter. So I have just brought Donny in, who is behind me. He's just currently tucking into his hay net. Donny is my part-bred Irish draught that I show as a middleweight hunter. But before we get stuck into getting him show ready, I just thought we'd talk about show plans, what level you want to compete at, and having a bit of a plan in your head before you trim, prepare, groom your horse. So, if this is just a one-off, unaffiliated show that you're going to, you want to be well groomed, bathed, plaited, etc. But your horse's welfare does need to come into it. You're only doing one show. If they've got a trace clip, a full clip, whatever suits them, it's obviously got to be what is the best clip for your horse. Do bear that in mind. If you are thinking, I want to start preparing my horse for county shows, these are the options, in my opinion, I would be thinking about. So with Donny, for example, the county shows probably start April. There is one in March, but we're not going to go to it because it's too far away. We'll start in April. So realistically, April and May is the time most people will be thinking about doing a county show, or a qualifier. Royal International qualifiers generally start first. The Hoys qualifiers start probably from, oh hi Donny, hi, yeah, that's not being very helpful. Yeah, the Hoys qualifiers probably start with Windsor, which I believe is mid-May normally. So realistically, if you have a horse, so I'm talking a cob, a hunter, a hack, a riding horse, you either want your horse to be fully fluffy or fully clipped with the legs off. Just because there was the first season I took him out as a 4-year-old, I gave him a trace clip probably November, December time, and by the time we entered our first Royal International qualifier, which was in May, he still had faint clipper lines, which his coat just did not look very good. It was like shiny where he had like a full coat on the top of his neck, and then it was like a different shade, because obviously when you clip horses they change colour. So if you are thinking about doing qualifiers, I would say you need to be thinking about now whether you want to leave your horse fully hairy or clip the legs off, clip the face off, clip it all off. Obviously this is different for mountain and moorlands and your hairy feathered cobs, because they've got hair. But if I had a mountain and moorland pony, and it needed clipping because I was riding it lots and I wanted to prepare for county shows, I would do a full clip, face off, and a leg blend, which is where you clip to the knee and blend, you blend up the top part of the leg, if that makes sense. So we're going to have a look at Donny's coat, and I'm going to give you some of the tips and tricks that I do to prepare his coat, make it look as lovely as possible. And we're also going to be trimming his legs, mane and tail in preparation for a winter show. Now, we don't actually have any showing shows planned, like full disclosure, because here there just isn't any till April. But it wouldn't hurt him to have a tidy up and get ready for some dressage shows. So we will get this rug off and get some grooming stuff out and prepare his coat. So these are the products we're going to be using today to groom and get Donny ready for a winter show. I've started off, I've boiled the kettle and we've got a bucket of boiling hot water. Obviously I'm not going to use that on him until it's cooled down, but when you use your hot oil product, you do need to be using a warm water. If you use cold water, it's not going to pick up the grease. The whole point of this exercise of hot oiling is it takes the grease out of the horse's coat. And a mouse has had that. How lovely. So we're going to be starting off with getting him out, giving him a good groom with my Haas brushes, and then we will start the hot oiling process before doing his mane, tail, legs and feet. So this is Donny. He has currently got a full coat. It's very shiny, do look good. His mane is rather long, his leg hair is rather long. We'll do a full tour. His tail isn't too bad, but it could do with a little bit of a re-pull. It's really the mane. He has a very, very thick and long mane, which makes it difficult to plait. So we are going to be doing that today. If you are getting ready for an actual winter show, do all your preparations a week in advance. Do not try and do them like 2 days before. The look just won't be the same. So we're going to start off by using the Haas brushes on him. I absolutely swear by these brushes. This isn't an advert or anything. I've used them for a long time on both Finley and Donny, and they are just lovely brushes that do the job. Obviously Donny is not covered in mud, even though he has just come in from the field. So these are the two brushes I'm mainly going to be using. This one is my go-to, even though it looks like Finley's been borrowing it. Unfortunately I can't tell you which one it is. Diamo? That's all I can read, because they are very well loved brushes, and this one lives in my show kit normally. It's got like some sheepskin in the middle. This is like a finishing brush which I'm hoping to use on him once I've gone over him with this one. There are multiple brushes you can buy in the kit, and obviously get all the mud off first. If they're molting, go over them with a curry comb, use them in the order, but he's not covered in mud. So we're going to be working on getting the dust and the sort of like dandruff and grease out of his coat, and then the hot oil will also help pull all that out of his coat, leaving his coat lovely, soft, shiny and clean. So I groom my horses every day. I'm not lying. I bring them in and groom them every day. I do find that grooming them, A, is a good way to check over for any injury. It's a good way to bond with your horse. Plus, I think grooming them every day really helps the coat look fabulous. If you've got a bay black chestnut horse and you're preparing for your winter show, you can probably get away with just giving your horse a really good groom and a hot oil. Sadly, if you have a grey or a coloured with lots of white bits, you'll probably need to bath. I mean, I have been to shows before with Finley where I've got away with not bathing him. And if you do not have access to hot water to bath your horse in ready for winter, and you've got a filthy grey, I would suggest doing the tail and legs with hot water that you bring down from home or wherever you can get it from. And I would groom their body as much as you could with the Haas grooming brushes. Use whitening stain, you know, those sort of products where you can spray on and get the stains off. And then I'd keep them rugged. Like, don't let them just go out without rug. Rugging is also a really important part of getting your horse's coat looking nice. So last week we went to dressage and I told you Donny's mane had started to break a little bit, so I've taken his neck piece off. But I'm hoping today we'll give him a good groom, do his mane, make it all look nice, and then his neck will come back on, because if you are using just a body rug, the neck will obviously be a lot fluffier, where it's open to the elements as the rest of the body. You want them to look perfect, and yeah, well fitted rugs that don't rub their shoulders is what you really want. Make sure you're rugging to the correct weight to suit your horse. Finley is quite a wuss, he is always cold. Donny is quite warm all the time, so he doesn't need ridiculous levels of rug. But we're going to go over him now with the fancy Haas brush. Exclusive? I'm not sure. Oh, it's the Diva. Diva. So yeah, we're going to go in with this one now before doing the hot oil. So it is now time to do some hot oiling. I'm just going to focus on his coat, then put a stable rug on so he can stay warm, then do his mane, then do his tail, then do his legs, etc. I would usually use like a microfiber cloth to do this, but I cannot find one anywhere, so I'm using a tiger tongue, and I literally just want to apply the oil to the coat, rinse, get the oil, the dirt and grease out of his coat, rinse and apply them with a clean sponge. So you're basically taking the grease out of the coat, rinsing it into the bucket, and then going over his whole body, legs, face. You can do all of your horse with this, and it just makes them really shiny, really nice and clean. Yeah, so we'll do that now. Whilst Donny's just chilling, my water is now the most perfect temperature. It's like the temperature I'd bath a baby in, basically. Can we not have grumpy faces, please? Yes. We have quite a bit of attitude. So Donny has just been hot oiled. Obviously he has a full coat, so it does look a bit extra fluffy in places. We haven't done his face. I would probably do his face the day before a show if I was going to a show, but we've oiled him up. He's looking very shiny. This will dry. Your main focus is the buttocks area, because obviously that is the bit that shines up the most, and it's also where your quarter markings are going to go. It's also, I find, you get the most grease build up like here, so I definitely try and focus on the bottom more. So I'm going to stick a rug on him now, this stable rug, which is nice and shiny, so he can just dry off a little bit whilst we're doing his mane and tail and things. Good boy. And once he has sort of dried, he should be left looking super shiny. So we are going to focus on his mane next, which is probably the biggest battle with Donny. He has a very thick, bushy mane. It goes on for miles, and he really doesn't like to have it pulled traditionally. So we're going to be starting off by grooming it with a Lemure Tangle Tidy, which is my favourite mane and tail brush. I think these like wide panel brushes are kind of better, as you don't seem to rip as much hair out, especially when your horse does have like a bit of a thin mane. I try and avoid brushing manes regularly if it is a bit thin and a bit delicate, and use one of these brushes where it just doesn't rip it all out too much. I find if you use like a normal hairbrush style, it will just pull a lot of the hair out. So we're going to give it a good brush, and then I'm going to show you how I thin it and tidy it in Donny style, because usually I would traditionally pull it properly, but he doesn't like that. Not all horses like that, so I'm going to show you the way we do it. So this is what we're working with. Manes need to sit on the right side traditionally, so you do need to tame your horse's mane to sit on the right side, whether that be using product and rugs to get it over, or plaiting it over like Donny. Oh, look at that. Donny's mane likes to flip-flop and do its own thing, and naturally most horses' manes, where they're wearing their rug, it falls out a lot here, but then here it is the thickest ever, isn't it, Don? So we're going to get it all over the right side. I'm not too worried about pulling a bit out, because he does have quite a thick mane anyway. If this was Finley, I would be probably teasing this bit with my fingers, because Finley has quite a weak mane there. Let's get it all over, shall we? Okay, so Donny's mane is now brushed over onto the correct side. Hi Don. I want to start off with thinning it. So Donny does not like having it naturally pulled, so I'm going to be using the Smart Grooming thinning rake, but there is a knack to it. If you get this wrong, your plaits will come out very spiky, so if you are doing this for the first time, I suggest doing it maybe 2 weeks before your show. If I plaited this today as it was, it would look like golf balls, like we did the dressage last weekend, and these plaits were quite nice, and then here they were just golf balls. So it is quite good to have a play before your show so you know exactly what they're going to look like on the day. So we're going to get the thinning rake, and we'll actually need to flip the mane over to the wrong side to start thinning. Okay guys, hopefully you can see me. We're going to flip the mane over. I've got my Smart Grooming rake. This is the fine one. Probably won't be thinning any of that section anyway. It's mainly up here. The wind is not my friend today. I'm going to have to shimmy up a little bit. Health and safety on its finest as well on my chair. Okay. So the mane's over this side. It's ridiculously thick here, and then it sort of thins out. Put that one down. Here's my rake. I'm going to start at the top, and I want to be pulling from the root down in slow action. You can see it takes the mane out. But if you don't do it from the side, you'll find when you're plaiting, it'll all be sticky, uppy, and really difficult. The mane is so thick and so long. Takes a minute, but as you can see, he doesn't mind it. It doesn't hurt him in any way. We're just slowly thinning the mane out, and there's no reason why you couldn't do this on an M&M or a traditional if you wanted to thin their hair out, or you just want it to lay better. There we go. They are quite good tools. I also use this on his tail, which I'll show you when we do the tail. The boy. And yeah, you really want to be doing this like in slow motion. So it takes it out from the root and works all the way down. So I'll just bring you over here so you can see what I've been doing. This is all the hair we have pulled out of Donny's mane, and the kind of best way to feel whether you think it's the right, zooming, the right thickness is you kind of just run your fingers through like this and feel for a consistent like thickness all the way down. Obviously it's still long, we're going to take the length off it next, but I need to brush it all back over to the correct side before we give you the chop. Hey Don? So what I'm just doing now to get Donny's mane all flat, laying on the correct side, so I'm just adding in some brill cream. You can just pick this up at Tesco. I think it's what the army used to get all the hair perfect. So I've just stuck a bit on my comb. I'm just combing it all over so his mane is laying flat, and also makes it quite like shiny and nice. And when I've finished his transformation, I'm going to be sticking his neck rug back on, and that will just help keep the mane over the correct side, making it all look nice, so when it does come to plaiting it's just a lot easier. Okay, you're actually quite enjoying this now, aren't you? He quite likes being pampered. Good boy. He just doesn't like having his mane pulled in the traditional sense. It's so much thinner now. Like, I don't know how obvious that is on the camera. So to take actual length off his mane, I'm going to be using a combination of the solo comb and the scissors. Just scissors do work well on some horses, but I generally would recommend using a solo comb. You just back comb the mane slightly and snip with this little just snips like that, and then you don't get such a like straight line, because we don't have the most perfect eye at doing a straight line, and it can look a bit chip choppy, especially on a thick mane. It can go really not good. So I'd highly recommend using a solo comb, and then just tidying up bits with a very sharp pair of bent and blunt end scissors. Right, Donny, we'll start off by just taking a little bit off the ends. This bit's not too bad. I might have to put my step again, because he is 17 hands, and I'm only 5'2". I mean, if you like now, I'm not actually, I'm just taking little snips off the ends. Because his hair is slick, it's much easier to see if it is straight. I do love the brill cream. You can also use that for quarter markings and stuff. It's just a really useful product. So this is the finished mane. Hopefully you guys all approve. His coat's also starting to dry out, so you can really see how he's starting to shine. He's also quite enjoying himself. He's got his gooey, sleepy eyes on. I've not taken loads off, just tidied it all up. It's so much thinner, like so much more plattable. It's a lovely thickness. It's relatively level, I think. The wind is not helping my course. It's not chip choppy, it kind of looks natural. Yeah, hopefully you guys approve. I'll just show you quickly what I also do with a thick forelock, and then we'll move on to his tail. Yeah, you can just see there, this is what I mean about the mane breaks. But hopefully, if I keep giving his neck some air each day, it will repair. Also, Megatech is incredible for hair repair. That's probably the only product I've used that I thought that actually works. But yeah, we'll just have a look at his forelock. But luckily Donny doesn't have that problem. He has lots of hair, don't you, boy? Okay, so I've just spun you round so we can do the forelock. Obviously the light is a bit weird here. I've just got a tiny bit of brill cream on my comb. I'm just going to brush through his forelock. I might need my chair again because you are gigantor. And Donny has a very thick forelock too, so when you're plaiting, you don't want all your neck plaits to look lovely and then the front one to be like a giant golf ball. Good boy, Donny. Oh God, health and safety, me on my bloody chair. Right, so we're just going to comb this through. He's so thick, like, I don't know how well you can see here, but he's so thick, like there, like at the top. Most horses have quite a wide, it goes like narrow, as Donny's is just really wide. So I've just put a bit of brill cream on to flatten it so I can see what I'm working with. And I've got my smart grooming rake, and I'm just going to rake the sides here and here, which is where it's thickest. And again, realistically, you need to do it from the root all the way down in slow action to take hair out from the root. If not, it's going to go all little bitsy, is the best way I can explain it. There we go. And as you can see, he's quite enjoying this. It's not, this isn't sharp, so you can't like cut them with it. Just want to take a little bit of forelock out. There we go. So sort of do it in slow-mo. I don't know how well you can see this, guys, because the light is a bit weird here. So this is where we're at so far. You can see he looks so smart. We're still, oh look, this is how windy it is. Goodbye my lover, goodbye my friend. We've got to tackle the legs, the tail, It is a slow process, but I definitely suggest doing keeping on top of it. Don't just like leave your horse all winter and then try and chop it all off, because it just doesn't work like that. That's the cat meowing. We have a cat fight. Tinker, go away. Very distracting, isn't it, Donny? So yeah, I try and do like a grooming day. I'd say once every 2 weeks I probably do a grooming day, whether that be washing Finley's tail, which is a endless job, trimming, tidying legs up. I just try and keep on top of it as much as I can. So next we're going to tackle his tail, and again I'll be using, hi, yes, I'm going to be using the Smart Grooming rake. You can use clippers, but if it goes wrong, it goes very, very wrong, and also it doesn't always look that natural. So Donny's tail isn't horrendous because I have been keeping on top of it. If you leave it, it will take you ages. I'm just going to give it a little bit of a rake through. I also want to condition it with like a show sheen stuff, you know, make it look nice, feel nice, groom it through so he's all nice and tidy. If you do these sort of grooming days regularly, when it does come to a winter show day, it will be so much easier for you. Even though I'm not doing any showing over winter, I'm just doing dressage. I just like doing this. I like grooming my horses. I think they look lovely for it. They feel like it just makes my life easier. Plus, like I said earlier, it's a really good way to check if your horse has got like any little ticks or any little wounds, anything. I just like doing these grooming days. So this is Donny's butt. Bubble butt. Bubble, bubble, bubble butt. Can you not trump? They always trump when you do this, and you can see where I've missed doing the hot oiling like there. But it's not too bad because we keep on top of it. I'm literally going to start off with zoom, the Smart Grooming rake, and do the top. And once I'm happy with the top, then I am going to condition, groom his tail, because I haven't actually groomed that bit yet, but I just don't want to do it whilst it's all slippery. Good boy. Most horses actually really enjoy this. Good boy. Good. A little bit this side. Like I said, there doesn't need loads doing to it because I have done it. I do keep on top of it. Little and often is key to your horses looking nice over the winter months, and when the weather's not very nice like it is today, you can just bring them in and do a day of grooming rather than riding. Donny, don't show everyone your butthole. Good boy. It's a little bit long there, but you want this bit to essentially have a lot more hair on it than the sides. If you do use clippers, it can just look a bit scalped. It doesn't look that natural. Again, you can also use like a traditional mane and tail pulling technique, but I do find this the best for the horses, is what they enjoy. Okay, so now you can kind of see where I've been running the tail rake down next. You've got the greasy line. We've got a little bit of hot oil left, so I'm just going to hot oil the top and then start conditioning and grooming the bottom. Sorry, Dom. It's not as warm as it was earlier. Some of that, can you see that on the sponge? The like dandruffy yuck. Actually going to try and get some of the grease off here as well, where it's all itchy. He's quite enjoying this, just trying to get the grease out from under his coat. There we go. And if I was going to a show, I would probably do this dampening on the day and then wrap it in a tail bandage so it all lays really nice against the buttocks. I've not gone mad with it today, but it's much nicer. I'm just tidying the edges up with my scissors, just because I want it to look a bit neater on the sides, and just a little bit at a time. So I'm now really happy with the shape at the top of the tail. I just want to condition, groom the bottom. You can see at the top where it's been oiled, it looks fresher, neater, tidier, and the bottom looks muddy and gross. So I would kind of recommend doing this maybe 3 days before the show, because tail growth is quite quick. So if you are confident doing it, if you aren't confident doing it, I'd suggest doing it maybe 2 weeks before and then doing it again a few days before, once you've built up a little bit of confidence and kind of got the shape you're looking for. So we'll tackle the bottom, and then we have just got the legs to finish, and I'd also like to take a little bit off his jawline and just smarten him up around his head. So for the bottle of his tail, I'm going to be using the Show Sheen and my Lemure Tangle Tidy. And also, if your horse was still looking a bit grubby, I mean, you could use this on their coat also, just to make them shine a little bit more. And that is the finished bum. So I've just swapped into my riding hat because I'm now going to be clipping his legs, and he does not like his front legs being done. He's just get really ticklish. So I'm going to get my clippers on, and we're just going to be trimming like the backs of his legs to make his legs look nice and tidy, because at the minute he looks a bit like a cart horse. So you can see by having like fluffy legs, it almost makes him look like he's got old joints. Like he just looks old, like they don't look very nice. So I literally am just going to be clipping the backs of his legs today, because he is fully hairy everywhere else. If he was fully clipped, I would be clipping all the tops of his legs like to sort of here, and then blending. Yes, and you're being very good, because I know this is very boring for you, even though it's relaxing. So these are my Lister Star Clippers, and we're going to be starting on his back legs because he's better with his back legs. I'm literally going to clip just the backs of them and tidy him up along with his jawline. I would like to trim his ears, but I don't think we'll get that far today. Just little things. So this is one leg done, and hopefully you can see a clear comparison compared to the other legs. So I decided to go all the way up because it's just easier to blend, even though you can kind of see where it's grey and then black. Once it's had a weaker settlement, or if I had given him like a bath, it would be almost unnoticeable. And then I've just trimmed with the scissors any little bits that I couldn't quite get in with the clippers. But yeah, I've tried to give it a natural look, but there we go. A week probably, and that will look blended. So we are done trimming his legs. I am out of breath. That is one of the jobs I struggled to do being 6 months pregnant. But I'll show you him. He looks amazing. So I hope you have enjoyed today's vlog. I'm really happy with the outcome. I really wish I took a before photo, but that's always the case. He looks fabulous. He's a little bit had enough now, but we are gonna try and ride in this weather. But we're gonna leave it vlog wise there today. I hope you've enjoyed it, and please comment with any questions you have, or you can send me a message or a voice note on Instagram, and photos of your horse if you want any help at all. Obviously my thing is plaited, but I do have some experience in the hairier departments. God, that sounds really rude. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed today's vlog, and hopefully that helps you for your winter showing. I feel like we need a show to go to now, but unfortunately there just isn't any, just dressage and show jumping and stuff like that. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next week. Bye.